Today I'm standing beside a railway line, waiting for a train. Well, you know I like trains. It had to happen sooner or later. Perhaps I could have picked a warmer day to do it though. This is freezing. My name is Ian Currey and this is Thinking Out Loud. Come on, let me tell you what I think. I'd been intending to get outside again for some time. I must say I could have chosen a warmer day for it. In England, in the middle of winter. I think I'd rather be inside a lovely warm train than outside waiting for one to arrive. This particular line is known as the West Coast Main Line, and it's one of the busiest lines in the UK. It runs from London in the south to Edinburgh in the north, where other lines take over for those brave enough to venture further north from there. These days, on this line, the trains usually run at 125 miles an hour, which is right around 200 kilometers an hour. The days of steam are mostly gone, but occasionally steam trains still run right along this same line, and a lot of reminders of them are everywhere. Most weeks, especially in the summer, steam trains work this same line right alongside the high-speed trains, and they have to go fast enough not to interfere with the normal rail schedule. Many of you won't know that steam trains ran that fast, but Mallard, for example, a famous steam engine that still holds to this day the record of 126 miles an hour, and that was set way back in 1938. Even today, most trains don't go that fast. The thing with steam trains is that while they can run very fast, they take an awful long time to get to that speed, while electric trains accelerate much more quickly. These days, most of the trains on this line are powered by electricity. Getting electrical power to the trains is done in a variety of ways. Here in the United Kingdom, most of the major lines are electrified in one way or another. In the south particularly, extra rails are laid that give the trains somewhere to plug in, as it were. That system is in use on most of the underground system in London, with all but the very newest trains collecting power from third and even fourth rails. Sometimes it's hard to see the things that were put in place for something quite specific and now don't appear to have any purpose at all. That's if you even notice them, of course. Here's one. Do you see that small balcony up there on the upper floor of the station? Before the days of video cameras, I expect the station dispatcher or station master perhaps would come out on that platform to see if the trains in the platforms below were ready to depart. While the little place for someone to stand is still there, I don't expect the door behind it has been open for many, many years. It's probably been painted over so many times that it couldn't be opened even if you wanted to. That whole floor of the station is hardly used these days. It's, of course, given way to a high-tech age of computers, internet and video cameras. While a lot of things change, and I'm sure will continue to do so, in the end, the basic function of moving people effectively and quickly hasn't changed. Neither has the alignment of the track or the route it takes. The purpose of the railway isn't to run trains. No, it's to move people and cargo from one place to another quickly and efficiently. And that hasn't changed. Now, this might seem a strange link, but in just the same way as some love the old trains that we used to run, despite them being dirty, smelly, and usually much slower. With religion, people are often the same way. Sometimes we hang on to things we know rather than accept the new way God has provided for us to do things. Under the old system, the blood of goats and bulls and the ashes of a heifer could cleanse people's bodies from ceremonial impurity. Ooh. Progress often leaves things behind as relics of the bygone era, but the same function, those of powering a train or cleansing from sins, are still everyday things. We just don't need smoke deflectors anymore. Of course, in the case of sacrifices, that was the whole point of Jesus' death, wasn't it? Signs of the old way of doing things are still very much there, if you know where to look. But hanging on to that whole mess of a process isn't the point of doing things at all. I love steam trains, but they were dirty, smelly things that, while capable of speeds similar to those of a modern railway, getting up to those speeds took much longer and was more than a little work on the part of the crew. Some people love the ritual and religious practices of the past, but a much simpler, cleaner, clearer way of being in contact with God was provided. Some of us are nostalgic or sentimental enough to hang on to some of the old ways of doing things, but rejecting the new because the old was better is kind of silly. The old was, well, old. The old system, under the law of Moses, was only a shadow, a dim preview of the good things to come, not the good things themselves. This is the Victoria line on the London Underground. Unlike some of the system, this particular line isn't all that old, even if it looks like it's ancient. Believe it or not, I can remember it opening. Now, if you look at the amazing new Elizabeth line that opened just recently, that line makes this look dramatically old. And by the way, makes me feel very old too. The old system worked just fine, but the new is so much better. Yes, of course, the original trains on these lines are missed, but only because they were familiar, not because they were better. They weren't. At the same time, some new ideas can be a little strange, can't they? I'm not so much thinking about technology or transport, although some of those things can seem pretty strange. No, I'm thinking about how things like truth and justice, common decency and so on, sometimes seem to be pushed aside in favor of a new way of thinking that makes no sense other than to those whose truth it has become. Some things do need to change. Of course they do. But some absolutes also have to be in place. While we may see how the way we look at things does indeed change, that's more of a change in perspective, a new way to look at things, rather than really being somewhere totally new. Traveling recently in England, I took time to take a couple of pictures. Oh, it's cold out here. Now, if I were a decent photographer, I'd find something in the background there, make it look nice. I'd find somewhere nice to shoot. I did. I was just a few feet away. It's all about perspective, isn't it? Isn't that beauty? What a lovely place. But by looking at it in a way that didn't show its full beauty, I can diminish the whole scene. By not focusing on the right thing, turning the camera from the beautiful scene to the mess and muddle there, I could easily have missed something lovely. The new way of looking at things may well be very little distance from where we already are. You don't have to go all weird and start climbing up mountains and so on just to see something new. Some stability is always a good thing. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So don't be attracted by strange new ideas. Your strength comes from God's grace. As we make the journey through life, let's remember to stay focused on God and all He has to offer. Let's remember that some new ways of looking at things don't take much movement at all. We just need to be intentional about where we look. And the old ways of doing things, however comfortable, are often still just that, old. As we follow Jesus through life, I'm sure how we look at things will sometimes need checking and adjusting. Now, if only I had enough time to take a few more lovely pictures. Until next time, goodbye.